Hi, my name is Megan, and thank you for joining me for my very first YouTube video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 4 projects that I completed recently. The first one is a pattern that I have made previously. It's called the Tunic by Love Notions. Love Notions is one of my absolute favorite pattern companies. They sell PDF patterns that you download, and you can either have them printed on large scale AO sheets, or you can print them at home and tape them together if that's your thing. I made this pattern the first time about 2 years ago when I was on maternity leave with my son, and I loved it. I was looking for something fast and satisfying, and this definitely was it. I did learn one pretty important lesson though, and that was to take your measurements again before you start a project, no matter how many times you've taken your measurements, because things can change. So the tunic I made, and I'll put in some better pictures, is made out of this gorgeous pine green bamboo fleece sweatshirt material that I bought from Black Rabbit Fabric, which is based in British Columbia and is an online knit fabric company. They have awesome customer service. I've been really happy buying products from them. Bamboo stretch fleece is really popular in Canada for good reason, amongst all of the seamstresses and makers that I know, and that is, it's so warm and it's so snuggly and it's pretty stable, so it's really easy to sew with. It does have a pretty decent horizontal stretch and not bad vertical stretch, so it's 4-way stretch, so that helps if you're making a sort of closer fitting garment. I made of this view, the Tunic, I ended up making a size smaller than I probably should have, and that's because I was lazy. I didn't take my measurements and I already had the pattern traced. So that was a bad one on mine. But as I wore it, it fits pretty nicely. I'm quite pleased with it, and I love the color. This is one of my favorite colors. So I made the pattern with the view, the funnel neck view. I added 3 inches of length, so I'm 5'9" and the patterns are drafted for 5'5". So typically, you would add, like as a rule of thumb, about half an inch to the pattern for every inch you are taller than that they draft it for. I wanted it long enough in the back to cover my butt because I wanted to wear it sort of with leggings or around the house, and it's perfect for that. I find it, because I made the wrong size, I find it a little bit snug sort of across the chest, and the funnel neck, which isn't tight, it's like a nice sort of relaxed funnel neck. So I don't have the most graceful swan-like neck. I have a bit of a short turkey neck that I inherited from my beloved grandmother. So I think if I was going to be nitpicky, I would take the length of the funnel down just slightly, just to give me a little bit more space. But I have to tell you, like when I was walking my daughter to school, it's about a 15-minute walk. It was -30 plus wind chill. I was so grateful to have a super cozy bamboo fleece turtleneck. The next project I'm going to show you is actually the same pattern that I made twice. And that's the Harper Cardigan from Sinclair Patterns. So I've made the Harper Cardigan 4 times now. It's a free pattern, so I definitely got my money's worth on that one. Sinclair Patterns drafts for 3 different heights, which is awesome. As I mentioned, I'm 5'9", so I'm a little bit taller than the average sewing pattern block. And their tall pattern fits me perfectly without having to add any additional length. So this is one of them. I made 2. This one is made out of what's called reverse French terry. So French terry has loops on the back. This one, the loop is on the front, the pattern side, and then the inside, the reverse, is smooth. So there's no loops on that. I will say that this one doesn't have a tremendous amount of stretch, either vertical and virtually no, or either horizontally and virtually no vertical strength or stretch, which is nice if you are not making a close fitting garment and you want, a bit of an oversized pattern. I think it would work really well with. It's a bit tight in the bicep. This one I did take my measurements and I did reprint the pattern, tape it together, trace it off, grade it up, all the good stuff. So I did make the correct size, but like I said, it's a bit snug through the bicep. I think this pattern's probably designed for a fabric with just a little bit more stretch, but I am quite happy with it. I made a long line version, so it's longer. This is a beautiful sort of dusty rose with floral. Again, these are more of my favorite colors. I got this fabric from Water Tower Textiles, and it was on sale, so I don't know if they have any left, but they're another Canadian fabric company, and I do try to shop in Canada. It's where I live, largely because I like supporting Canadian businesses, and secondly, the import fees for fabric from the United States are bananas, plus their exchange rate. It's kind of crappy, so if I can't go to the States myself to pick it up, having it shipped here can cost equally as much as the fabric. So if you're Canadian and thinking about getting into sewing with knit fabrics, you'll discover that quite quickly. So anyway, so this is the first version that I made. I actually made it second. This is the one that I made first. So this is with a rib knit fabric that's also from Water Tower Textiles, but I bought this stuff like well over a year ago, and I had intended to make a turtleneck bodycon sweater dress, which is something that fantasy Megan would wear, but real life Megan would never ever wear. And real life Megan, currently living through a global pandemic, sure as heck is never ever gonna wear the foundation garments required to wear underneath a lightweight ribbed turtleneck sweater dress. I feel like if you want to wear that and you're comfortable in it, I am in awe of you. I need some rigging for myself to feel comfortable wearing more clingy clothes, especially a sweater knit like this. So I'm not in the mood to wear Spanx that go up to my, like, here, on top of the mask, on top of the rest, and plus I never leave my house. So, you know, the 15 minutes walk to and from school, it's not worth all of the rig-a-jig that means getting into a pair of Spanx like that. So anyway, so I turned it into a cardigan, and I'm thrilled with it. I do, again, really love these shades. This is the same length, so it's a long line, so it comes below the knee. It's perfect for wearing at home. It's not quite a duster, but it's longer than a classic cardigan. It's perfect for wearing on Zoom calls when you're only visible from here up, which is how I do most of my work now. And it'll be great once I go back into the office because it's lightweight enough to just add a little bit of extra warmth. This is where I live. This is a 4-season garment, so I am thrilled with it. Absolutely would recommend you check out the Harper Cardigan from Sinclair Patterns. It comes in 4 different lengths, like a cropped, a classic length, and I've made 2 classic lengths, the long lines, and then a duster length, and they're all super cute. And like I said, the pattern is free, so what have you got to lose? And the final project I want to share with you today is a pair of pajamas. And so I took 2 days off at the beginning of February. I have some vacation time and overtime accrued, and I decided I was going to take a little mini break and spend that time sewing. And so I'd actually cut these out before Christmas in an attempt to make myself Christmas jammies like most people who are into sewing seem to do every year. And you know what, like I have 2 little kids, I just didn't get there. But I picked fabric that's not particularly Christmassy, and it's winter where I live for a really long time, so I think it's perfect. So I made the Itch to Stitch Pine Cove Pjs, which are made for woven fabrics. They come with a pair of pajama pants as well as a wrap jacket. And I thought when I saw the pattern it released in November or December of last year, that it was so cute because I love a flannel pajama, but I don't like sleeping in a flannel pajama, like a classic pajama top. There's so many buttons, it gets all shifty. I usually sleep in just a tank top and pajama pants, and this gives me the option to throw something on over top when I get out of bed and I'm cold, or for like hanging around reading. I suppose you might refer to it as a bed jacket. So I took 2 days off at the beginning of February to make these, and it snowed, and I looked out my window to sew, and it was beautiful. And then it got really, 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 really cold here. And I live in an apartment building where it's concrete construction, and it really holds on to the cold. So by the middle of a 10-day cold snap, it was about 15 degrees at the warmest inside our apartment. So was I ever happy to have perfectly cozy warm flannel pajamas that I wore like every night and all day. I took them off like for work. I got dressed for work because I needed to put on 3 or 4 layers of clothes, but I'm thrilled with them. So I love this pattern. I made the pants based on my hip measurement, and I thought I was going to be just a little bit snug, but I thought, well, we'll give it a try, and they fit perfectly. They're the best fitting elastic waist flannel pajama pants I've ever made. And if you took home economics or fashion or whatever it was called when you grew up, you probably made some boxy PJ pants. Definitely I made some when I started sewing again, and these ones, they fit so well, and they don't bunch. Like, flannel pajama pants can get weird and billowy and bunchy at sort of the waist or the back. Particularly if you're like me, my hips are often 2 sizes larger than my waist or a size larger than my waist. So I have to make them wide enough on the hip to get up, but then there's all this extra fabric. These ones don't do that. They fit perfectly. I'm so happy with them. If I make them again, I might add about 1 inch of length to the leg. I didn't make any length adjustments. They fit fine, but it might just be nice just in case the flannel shrinks a little bit more. The jacket I made according to my measurements. So I was really careful to measure the bicep on this pattern, and I appreciate that Itch to Stitch had a finished measurement for the biceps on the pattern. So I was able to make sure that that would fit because it was woven. I didn't want it to be tight and constrictive. So I'm pretty sure I picked the size based on my upper bust and bust measurement, the bicep, then graded out a little bit at the waist, and then I think I didn't grade out any more for the hip. There are slits in the bottom line of the hip, so I thought, okay, well, that'll give me enough movement, and it hits about at high hip, the bottom of the top. So I think I might make another pair of these. Like, I don't really have need for more than 1 pair of winter themed flannel pajamas, but I might make another pair in like a cotton lawn or voile, or maybe even like a really nice rayon challis or something like that for summer. And if I did, I might make the top just a slightly longer. Like, I might add just a little bit of length to it as well. A couple things that I really like about this pattern was the finishing. Like, the collar is finished and has all enclosed seams, and I think that that's really beautiful on the wrap jacket. The ties, it's got 4 ties. They're self-fabric ties. I think you could use ribbon. They're quite long, so if you like to tie a big bow, they're not going anywhere. Because I used flannel, these ones are a little bit bulky, and so I think if I was going to do another flannel pair again, I might use ribbon, or I might make them just a little bit shorter. It has a pocket, which is big enough for my cell phone, so that's wonderful, or tissues and cough candies, because you know, like I'm just going to get super cozy in these bad boys, put on some Miss Marple, get my knitting out, and I'm so happy. I'm thrilled with them, honest to God. They're wonderful pajamas, and I think the pattern is brilliant. So if you're looking for something just a little bit more interesting to sew than a sweatshirt, but you're not looking for something that's like mind-bending, like, oh, I have to do a burrito roll collar method or something, like, there's enough to keep you entertained and interested, but not so much that you're going to stress out about it. It does take a lot of fabric if you're making them out of flannel or flannelette, because a lot of these printed flannels come in a really narrow width. So I think I used 3.5 or 4 meters of fabric, which is a lot. Typically when I buy my fabric, I'm not buying 4 meters of it, but I'm pretty sure that when I bought this, I bought it on a shopping trip with my auntie. I was going to make pajamas for my then 2-year-old daughter, who's now 7. Maybe she was 3. That didn't happen, and so they're mine now. So I'm really happy with these, and they were perfect for cold weather sewing and cold weather wearing. So anyway, that's it for me today. I want to thank you so much for coming along with me on my very first video. I'm learning as I go, and so if you have any feedback for me, please leave it down below. Subscribe. I'm not sure when my next video will be out. I'm going to try to film a few so that I can learn how to use all of the editing tools and get better as I go. I also firmly believe that we're always learning and we're always improving, whether it comes to sewing or video production or work or anything that we do. And so I hope that you are interested in seeing me and my authentic self and my authentic projects. They're not all going to be fantastic, and I do make mistakes, and so I welcome your constructive feedback along the way. Have a great day.